Cattle is the project that birthed Between the Highway Press in the winter of 2020. Working as a gas station cashier, I used my receipt machine to write the book, scribbling short lines in red ink between customers. At the time, I was researching the animal agricultural industry in the US and reading the poetry of the poet Jackson Maclow. The structure and diction of the text is based on etymologies, beginning with the word cattle and then burrowing into as many related words as possible. The subtitle, The Fields, the Slaughterhouse, the Supermarket, loosely structures the poem, as the words divide and drift farther from their source. The animals are parted and transported to alien locations. Although I sought a publisher at first, I realized that I wanted to keep the poem close to its original form on receipt paper. I soon bought a receipt printer of my own and published Cattle alongside two other poetry collections in late 2021. Since then, I've edited and printed over 22 publications on receipt paper by others, including republications of Cleveland publisher and poet d.a.Levy. Today I'll be performing passages of Cattle with the preface and some sections from the beginning and end. Before I begin, I'll read a quote by Levy. And reading to any audience is like being led to a slaughterhouse, to be asked questions and know if you had an answer, it wouldn't be heard. Cattle, the fields, the slaughterhouse, the supermarket. Through the heavy smoke of the factories as if preparing for a mechanical Sabbath, moving like a shadow through the endless days of rain and fire, surrounded pleasurably in amongst massed gorgeous figures, making cries, one leaving oneself, being torn apart so continually, that's emotion as interior, into the visible, specific congruence of form and matter, energy moving into the clarification of each face, hand, ear, mouth, eye, billions, the differences not submerged but resting clear as the surface, and not rising above the surface. We are in danger of forgetting the language which all things and events speak without metaphor. This is the grass that grows wherever the land is and the water is. This is the thoughtful merge of myself in the outlet. I know I am deathless. I know I am August. I laugh at what you call dissolution. The pleasures of heaven and the pains of hell are with me. The first I graft onto myself, and the latter I translate into a new tongue. What is the direct trial that is today? Is it the trial of the open body under the open sky and the open streets? Is it to make articulate the inarticulations of we who are not even animals? Is it the gathering of the penetrated bodies into clusters of disinterest? Is it the professionalization of plunder? Does it long for a new body, a new city, a new time, any new terrain of possibility from which to newly move? Does it carve an eternal heaven on a stage? How about the kitchen counter? This movement proceeds according to its own law. To guide the behavior of its subjects is a preparation to fit each of them equally well for the role of executioner and the role of victim. Cattle. Fill the fields with cattle. The fields are emptied of cattle. The cattle are emptied of fields. The fields are emptied of fields. The cattle are emptied of cattle. The fields are emptied and the slaughterhouse is filled. The cattle are efficiently emptied and the supermarket is filled. And the supermarket is filled sufficiently, filled with others who are emptied of ourselves. There are hidden rivers, there are hidden doors. Walk through this door in this river of fire. Walk through this empty motion. This is the motion of the fields. This is the motion of the slaughterhouse. This is the motion of the supermarket. And they are the motion of capital. This is proper. Starve them for 24 hours. Before they're bleeding, this is property, a proper motion by preparing the head, prepared itself and particularly bisected, belonging to itself and by limbed properly, moving along the head, both rounded, the head itself an amphitheater, displacing the response from its origin without memory, a rigid blooming, proper calving restraint. Cut, cut, cut. Scratch eyes properly prepared by belonging, both rounded, close and near, longing to be prepared narrow, a bisected theater of watching watched, being prehensile, particularly calved into inward trembling. Properly property. The head of capital without a head, property preparing a little head itself belonging to the carcass theater, rounding nearer. Through its blood orbit, a head of heads bisecting belonged along the columns of the theater, rounded, hemorrhaging little hooves through dark grass and fire's familiar restraint, both cut and swelling along its motion proper. This is your head. A head in a bowl, in a soft bowl of light. This head, a hood skull, rounded along a wide column of capillaries. The bowl in our bodhisattva's hands, a disarranged dress prepared in this little church of self-containing motion. Closely watching the dance, a head outside of its skull is properly a theater belonging to the brain body, columns and dress, sausage tracks of both rounded and bisected heads, emptied, properly prepared and belonging to capital or proper capital, dressed and undressed light. These empty heads disarranged are little empty bowls inwardly swelling, bloom, bloom, bloom. Particular to this closed and rounded amphitheater, opening a disarranged brain, white, undressed along the forest and sky, a brain without shudder, inwardly hooving prehensile capillary dance, opening the sun outward. The theater prepares the belonging for its capital motion. Your unwatching eyes are asked to prepare a bullet to press straight through the bull's skull. Let it bloom. Milk sun purse shut, skin sermon scratched ember, fold fields into familiar throats. This bisected brain prepares itself as a door, properly opening itself to enclosed throats, the theater's prepared motion, syllables crowding hooves, and closing, emptying motion, particular to dressing, undressing itself from proper bodies, ribbed and proclaimed milk, rigid, light, threads, veins, cutting straight as rounded motion, belonging properly to a dance straight and closed through the light shut familiar, is pressed over and against wide skull of the belonged, and this blessed light is a particular restraint, a familiar dance boiling straight through the aorta, between white brain trembling, the bowl of capital, efficient theater extended, extending, proper motion, opening, furrowing embryos arranged along a desk of enclosing fire. Right, right, right. Embers familiar, dance particularly to this proper motion of restrained light. The cathedral's windows blooming. Dancing dance, redressed, restrained against nerve, emptied carcasses, branded limbs, a light tone, swelling inwards by hidden light and blood, bleed me, dress me, restraining entraced eyes, dismember limbs unmoving, remove any arrangement of capital by writing with blood and milk, through a nerved reprieve, outtract every disarranged ember, undressing blood pressed against light and clouded eyes, dark moon, bisected throat, resting nerveless against headlights, little burrs, right movement close and near, your dressed carcasses redressed as straight and wide, whiteness resting, rested and cut light, reprieved, pressing blood, rewritten through little heads sees light, the light blood writes between nerve throats, tracing proper embers and blooming capillaries with rivers hidden blessing, a field full of light, light, light. Sip water for an hour, watching the motion of capital empty carcasses, filling them with shadows. Cut light, purse skin, rigid embryo, proclaim trembling door, this cathedral tracked furrowing beef container, hiding bullets between empty open palms, flowering skull wide, little cathedrals, white property, calving nerves widely carcassized, cut skin over, stretch light, proper throat swelling, empty, dance, dance, dance. Dress yourself in empty motion, press light inward through your throat, fill fields with empty light, prepare opening embryos into bullets, breathe familiar sky swelling sun, bless these little nerve churches proper.